All right, so with our handsome Mr. Zeke, so this is his first day at Doggy Day School as well. He has been here for other programs. He's been doing a real nice job with his structured play. I did notice, I know a little while back, he did hurt his back pad, and that's been healing well. He had some stitches put in, poor guy. So, but I've noticed that he's still a little bit sore in the front end. So I don't know if he's still a bit sore from doing some extra wrestles or from doing some hiking, but I would keep an eye on it just to make sure he's, eventually getting less and less lame in the front end. I know for some babes, they could be having growth spurts. He could have exerted himself a little bit too much. There's moments where we can pull a muscle or strain something. As we know, Bodhi, same thing. He ended up hurting his foot at one point, and he must have stepped a bit funny while wrestling. And he thankfully got the clean bill of health. He got x-rays and everything, and there was nothing really skeletal or muscular or in the sense of ligaments that were damaged, and it was just probably a pulled muscle. So for Mr. Z, same thing. It could be very benign, but I would just keep an eye on it and make sure that he's not progressively getting more uncomfortable as he's working skills. So for warm-up, I figured we could start off a little bit with our place position, working a bit with going to our target spot. I typically do love using the raised dog beds, so the cots. You can, of course, like with our other, we dropped it, that was my bad. With our other little lady, if she prefers like a soft bed or something squishy, like a dog bed, feel free to also pack, if you'd like, for little Miss Phoenix, if she likes certain targets, like maybe she's got a dog bed from home that she tends to gravitate towards well, that can also be something nice to bring to day school because it gives her a little bit of a feel from home. For the gentlemen, like I mentioned earlier, they have all been here since they were much younger. So for them, coming in here and hanging out with the crazy snack lady is no big deal. So right here with Mr. Z, oh, the snack fell out of his face, is I want him to just start practicing just chilling and hanging out. I know for Mr. Z, staying stationary might seem like the dumbest idea ever, and that when you have a teen, it can be very challenging to remind them that rest is beneficial. They might feel that for them, movement and being involved with everything is a much better option, but then you end up with a very overtired teen that could be less likely to be functional in the sense of paying attention or responding to skills or cues, but then also they become more exuberant or rowdier, so like a little bit more easily excitable and mouthy. So if you're finding that at times he is not taking little breaks, which I think he's been doing pretty well with at the home, that would be something to make sure that we're addressing along his adolescence into young adulthood. So for Mr. Z, I'm going to see if I can apply now the stay. I'm going to see if I can add a little bit of distraction from me adding some movement and see how he does. So right here, I'm just going to tell him to stay, and then I'm going to see if I can add a little bit of wiggles. He was just wrestling with his best friends, Bodhi and Teddy. Our little Miss Phoenix, who is only, I think, around 17 pounds, mom said, is not really interested in WrestleMania with the crazies, and I don't blame her. But she, for example, will, as she's progressing, get to do some more little hellos through the fencing if she's interested. So again, I don't like to force interactions if the babes are ever feeling a little unsure, because then it's going to make her think maybe new friends can be a little bit too much. So this is really pretty. So, excuse me, I feel like my allergies are kicking my bum. So with Mr. Z, as he's working a little bit with this place position and working a bit with the stay, I only apply the stay word once. So if you're finding that you're repeating yourself with your cue word, I do like to just say it the one time. If my puppy then gets up and wiggles, then I would reapply it and start again. With stay, you want to think about it almost again like freeze tag with room service. I know Mr. B is very in love with working his place position and working his stays, which is great. So now as Mr. Z is getting more cozy, I might try and add a little bit more difficulty by adding some movement nearby of the different items on the wall. Yes. So in the beginning with these stays, just like with any other skill or behavior, you want to slowly build up difficulty. If while I was adding more distance between him and myself, or let's say as I went to touch something on the wall, he was constantly getting up, then I'd say I'm going too fast in that criteria. Oh my goodness, I was about to feed him one, but he just coughed up his last one. Maybe we'll have a second one just for good measure. You got to swallow them. He's like, maybe inhaling is better. You good? So with Mr. Z, just like with our other beauties, is to generalize skills, we do want to take our time, but that means that too, while practicing, if we don't ever start to tweak the way we kind of do things once we have a pretty nice foundation, it's going to be very challenging to make it more real world if we don't get to slowly generalize the skills to different environments and different criteria when it comes to distraction levels, and maybe distances or difficulty that could be around you. So right here, he is being fed only while he's in the stationary position of the stay. If I were to call him forward, the problem with that is then at times stay is beneficial to not move, and other times it's beneficial to move. So for stay, I always think about it as freeze tag with room service. I want the dog to be stuck until I go and get them from their spot, be it a target or no target. So right now he's doing a really nice job, just making some noises, wiggling some merchandise around. So let's say I want to go back and end the stay for the dog. So if Mr. Z has been doing such a great job, you can also jackpot a behavior. So again, that's one little snack after another. So a little bit as opposed to one handful, which he might read it as one reinforcement. This way there has been several given one right after the other. So let's say I'm going to end my stay. I'm going to say all done, and then I'm going to see if I can get Mr. Z, nice, to get up and wiggle. So I am not feeding him for when he breaks from the stay. I'm only feeding him while he is stationary. So think about, he's like, oh, the snacks that Miss Lovely left behind. Miss Phoenix left a few snacks on the floor. So Ruby might go again, bed. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and feed him just for even setting up on the target for starters. Then we might go, ready, Zeke? He's like, I swear he dropped it. He says, down. He said, my brain has melted. So if, for example, he's a little bit unsure, I'm going to go right to his little sniffer. He thinks he lost one. Ready? Down. Oh, I wonder if that's rain. Yes. I don't know if we're supposed to be getting rain. Maybe. So right here, he's doing a beautiful job. So we're going to go right into working the stay. So you guys can pick whatever hand signal makes sense to you. I normally typically use open palm stop sign for my stay, and I might do a one finger for my wait. Stay, for example, again, we've been kind of blabbing about it, but stay is going to be like stationary, like a statue. And while they're a statue, that is the only time they're getting their food delivered to them. Until they get much more comfortable, the time frame should be short and sweet between each rep. Eventually, the duration between each food rep will become bigger and bigger. So in the beginning, it might be every 5 to 6 seconds. For some, it could be every 1 to 3 seconds. For others, it could be every 5 to 10 minutes. You might have to, again, vary it based off of how well your pup is performing for the task. Nice. I know, I wish I probably should just start setting them up the other way. I feel like you always get to look at their cute cabooses and not so much their cute faces. But maybe we'll try a little bit of just moving around him. He says he has a very itchy knee, so he's got to take care of that first. So remember, I don't care if your puppy is acknowledging you or checking out the environment. So this is not one of those things where I'm looking for direct eye contact with me the whole time. I just want him to not move when I place him into a stay position somewhere. Stay, again, though, should not be used if your dog is nervous or apprehensive or overwhelmed by something. If we force the dog into a stationary position while some sort of thing is approaching or trigger or whatever, then being stationary could be the beginning step to here comes that dangerous setup, and now I feel even more trapped and I might even explode. So when in doubt, movement skills are much better. So loose leash walking, find it, U-turns, some of the different skills that we've worked on for some of these lovely men in other classes too. So right now he's just working his lovely place position. And then after we work a few of these, we might end up working a little bit with weights, which are going to be a little bit different. What a smart boy. Great job. So you will want to pick, again, a slogan for the end of the staying position. So you guys, there's a whole bunch available. So some folks have picked one or another. If by any chance I am using the wrong slogan for one of your skills, just let me know. I don't want to confuse them by using a different word. So I know like for Mr. B, his recall word is here. So in most of the other ones is come. So I don't want to confuse them by swapping or rotating for the wrong beauty. So right here, he's doing a really nice job. So I think he had been working. I can't remember if Mr. Z actually has a bed at the household or if it's just a regular dog bed that's like a soft one. But I do find for a lot of them, having a raised cot just for some reason becomes a very easy visual to hone in on. So I'm not saying you have to go out and buy anything you don't want. I believe this dog bed is a Coolaroo or something similar. And I want to say they're around like $25, $30. So they're a pain in the butt to put together, but that's probably why they're so much cheaper. But they're quite durable and they've lasted years. So, and they are, you are able to replace, I believe, the part that they lay on if it does get broken or damaged after, let's say, some usage. Yes. So let's say we're going to end this gorgeous stay for Mr. Z. He's doing a real nice job. I'm going to tell him all done. And then what I like to do, he's like, no, I'm going to lay here forever. But I like to wiggle my fingers and maybe try to coax him to get up. If your puppy gets stuck, you can also, hi Lovey, you can also add a little bit of loveys and then see if we can get him. He's like, no, we're just going to wrestle instead. Wild boy, ready? And we'll try to get him up. He's like, oh, goodness, so hard. Good job. So I don't feed him for the release. So he is only being fed, oh, smart boy. He's like, I like this game. Oh, itchy. But so right here, if he all of it on his own goes and, did it fall? And of course, under the bed? Yes, it did. So here we go. Poor guy. Here you go. Opposable thumbs are helpful. So with Mr. Z, anytime he goes and maybe targets something on his own, like he goes and places himself on the dog bed or the cot, I would capture those moments. So that way we're again building that a lot of good stuff happens when you go and take a pause or relax. I know for some of the babes, I've also recommended to pair the relaxation with a chew or a lick item like a Kong or a Topple or some sort of dental chew. So that way while they're chilling in their spot, good things happen while they're on the target bed. What a smart boy. And of course I didn't apply this day, but we might as well rock a little down. Yes, what a smart boy. Here you go. So let's say we're going to try a little bit, maybe another couple reps with our stay, just see how he's feeling. Ready, stay, and we'll take a little moment to see how comfortable he is once more for the behavior. And of course, now all the boys are nice and quiet because they've had a few wrestle moments. Poor Miss Phoenix, when it was her turn, she was like, these wild men are crazies. But again, they're all doing great. Remember, first day may not be the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, especially if this is their first rodeo. All the gentlemen, though, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, they all know me and they have been practicing with me for, I'd say, I don't know, 6 to 8 months for some of them. So, and others a little bit less. But that's where there's a difference between having like a relationship with the pup already when they come to school versus when they don't. This is very pretty. So, but I think Miss P and I will become very good friends as the sessions progress. But hopefully the gentleman will also go home nice and tired because we do break up some of the structured moments of focus and skill building and filming with also a little bit of course, usual potty breaks as well as some wrestles for the wild men. Yes. What a smart boy. He's doing really nice. I'm going to try something a little bit hard. I'm just going to wiggle the curtains, see if that makes a difference. Because I feel like sometimes when I go for the door, that can be a little harder. Oh, smart boy. Yes. He's doing so nice. What a brilliant boy. Such a good boy. So again, yes, indeed. So let's say Mr. Z is doing spectacular with his place behavior, and he's really working very nicely with these stays. I would pick and choose times where he's gonna be more successful because of the fact that we've already met some of those needs. So I know you guys are really good about going out and about and exploring new environments and getting him comfortable with different types of zones. And in general, just trying to meet his needs as a dog, which has been great. So there could be some times where maybe he could be a little overtired or a little sore, or maybe he's already had that nice little hike that would be a great moment to start working a little bit with some of this relaxation and kind of vegging. So, but maybe what we'll do is we'll see if we can get this handsome guy up and breaking from his stay. I'm just going to reinforce for this last little rep. He did a really nice job. And then we'll go, ready, all done. And we'll get him up and wiggling. Oh my goodness, it's always embarrassing when the food falls right. I think you stepped on it. And now it's probably stuck under his foot. Ready? That's really embarrassing. He's sniffing it out, but I think he ended up actually stepping on it. Poor guy. What a rough day. So, but I think he got it. Ready? Good job. Oh, see, it did fall right out of your mouth, and there it is. You better go eat it up. Good job. Thanks for tidying up. So I'm going to bring him a little breather by going and just doing a couple little find its. I'm just going to move the cot out of the way just so he doesn't keep placing, and oh my goodness, we're a little sore, you poor munchkin. So we're going to try a little bit with, maybe we'll rock a few simple find its with a little bit of name recognition, but then I want to give him a little breather. And then I know I mentioned those weight behaviors. I maybe will work that for the next little moment and do a few other fun skills with him. So right now with these find its again, just like I mentioned a little bit with Miss P, is these can be great for creating some movement, getting your puppy up and about, and then eventually either reorienting back to you or disengaging from a distraction, or in general, just giving your babe some activity or something that they find more appealing through movement versus being fed directly to the face is not as engaging or as like woohoo. So Zeke, come. Yes. So you can see the poor little munchkin is still a little bit sore in that front end, like he had been a little bit on and off a few weeks ago. Ready? Find it. So I'm not going to make him work too hard. You know, I don't want him to get too sore. Nice. Zeke, come. Yes, what a good boy. Maybe we'll do one more and then we'll give you a little breather. Ready? Find it. He's like, maybe the cot is the better option today because he's a little bit sore. Zeke, come. Oh my goodness, such a smart boy. Good job, my love. So, but he's really doing a wonderful job. We'll get a little sitting from him. Brilliant boy. But we'll give him a little rest period. He says, oh my gosh, lady, I'm exhausted. We'll give him a little moment to take a pause. We'll bring him out for a little pee or potty break, and then we'll work a few more skills. But here, I'll give you a little find it, easy peasy one, and then we'll give him a little breather and we'll rotate. He's doing a real nice job.